Regional Vocational Technical High School. Mr. Packard here with Coach Giampa, and that means only one thing. It's Bay Path football and a preview for the week coming up. Great to have you here with us, Coach. Great to see you. Listen, what a week it's been, I'm sure, for you guys. An amazing game coming up a little bit short last week at in Blackstone. Let's first start there before we start talking about what's coming up this weekend. Let's talk about that game in Blackstone. A bunch of some highs, some lows, but in the end, a lot of learning took place during that game. What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we can't. I think we were disappointed with the outcome. It's certainly not something that we wanted to happen. I think I was proud of the way the kids kept battling back. They never, tucked it in and went away. But we got to play better. We can't. Penalties and turnovers beat every team. There's no penalties and turnovers are undefeated in football. So we got to play better. We got to coach better. We got to make sure that the kids are in the best positions that we can put them in. That we have answers to everything that teams want to do against us, and we got to make sure that we got to be more excited with the adversity of football. That if we're playing these games and against these teams that we want to play and compete against, then we're not always going to be up by 3 touchdowns. We're not always going to be up by 2 touchdowns. There's going to be points in games where adversity hits us, and we have to be able to thrive in those moments. And I think that was kind of the big difference. I think we went on a stretch of wins where honestly, we weren't really close to the teams we were playing. We were, offensively, we were chugging along. Defensively was, not meeting a ton of resistance. And when we got into into situations where those things happen, we have to be able to coach better so that our kids are in better, are better suited to those type of adverse situations. But again, the kids played their tails off. They played for 4 quarters. They played really hard. We gave ourselves an opportunity to win at the end, and then give all the credit in the world to BMR. They were physical. They had a great game plan, and they played really well. So my hats off to them. And we talked about the things we need to improve on, and then we moved on to the.
It comes down to I knew that game was going to be the person with the ball last was probably going to be the one who had the opportunity to win. An amazing throw from Corey that was caught, late in the game. That was a real big game changer. An amazing catch, quite frankly, set you guys up for that touchdown, a big touchdown at the end. And you know what? There's a lot of momentum and a lot of emotion riding with that. My thing to you, Coach, and as we're educators at first, how do you manage the mindset of a student athlete, coming off of such an emotional roller coaster there, because they had that, the game was right in our hands. And again, things can change in a drop of a dime. And we talk about continuously teaching kids how to deal with adversity and continuously grow. What do you do from a head coach's standpoint to help kids understand the importance of that, not only for the game, but for life?
Well, we saw in that game, we saw, some great growth from our athletes. I mean, there were some really adverse situations that we were in. We go down and then we end up at a 1st and goal from the 40 because of our own mistakes. Penalties are penalties, and that we can't have those. But again, earlier in the game, Aiden had Corey and Aiden had a miscommunication on a throw that led to a turnover. And later in the game, they have to be able to. That we talked about it last week, living in each play. And it's hard to do, and we saw it on Saturday. I mean, it's easy for me to sit in a room and talk about living in the moment and being hyper-focused on what's going on in that play. It's harder to do that on a field, especially when, you got people yelling at you and coaches yelling at you, and it's hard to be able to, come back and refocus on what's going on next. And, that was certainly something that was practiced quite a bit in that game. And like you said, we needed Aiden later on in the game. We needed Corey later on in the game to make that big throw and catch. And they, if you're a quarterback and you're dwelling on the past mistake, you're not going to make that throw because you're nervous that, what if he drops it this time? Or what if what if I overthrow him? Or what if I underthrow him? Like, is he going to help me out? Is he going to help me out? Is he going to be able to do something like that again? And Corey, he was living in that play, and he was able to deliver the ball where it needed to be. And Aiden, again, was able to put that play behind him. And something people might not notice, but Aiden and Austin and Jake and Yandel, they've been their primary role in our offense is to go block, and we need those guys blocking because our offensive line does a great job of taking care of the first and second levels. They have to take care of the third level. And the next play that Aiden was on the field, he leveled the safety. He went and flew. So that shows me as a coach, like, all right, he's not, because as a coach, it's not Madden. You can't just call up a play. These kids have emotions and they have feelings. And if a kid's not mentally mature enough to move on from a play, I can't call him on a big play later on. But so when a play like that happens, as a coach, you're watching how is the quarterback going to respond and how is the receiver going to respond, especially because now we're running the ball again. So it's not in their hands. So what are they going to mope around? Is Corey going to give a half fake and jog, and is Aiden going to kind of waltz over to it? But the next play, Corey gave a great ball fake, and then he carried out and he took the outside backer with him. Aiden flew down the field and made a great block on the safety, which allowed our running back to get, I think it was like a 50-yard run. And those things don't happen if you're not retuning yourself into the play. I think the big thing that, we harp on is like, don't, when you get back to the sideline, it's over. Move on to the next play, and we'll deal with it on Monday. We'll talk about the mistakes that happened in a constructive way. We're not going to – one of my kids don't want to screw up. Kids don't want to make mistakes, so I don't want to get in a kid's face because he made a mistake. There are times to do that, and there are times to push a kid, but nobody wants to drop a ball. No one wants to throw a ball high, and it takes two people. And it's really easy for a kid to point at the other kid and go, "Well, I put the ball where it needed to," or to say, "Well, listen, I ran a great route, but he threw the ball a little too high." It's a combination, and I like the way that they came to the sideline. They were both angry at each other, but they were able to kind of regroup, and later on when we needed them, they executed. And I think those are the little moments that maybe not everybody looks at and not everyone pays attention to. But like as a coach, I was really proud of the way that those two were able to, get it back together, execute their job, and then later on we could depend on those two for a big play. So as a coach, that's what you're kind of honing in on is it's not about giving a kid another opportunity. Like, so now, we have to throw it right now. It's every play they're involved. So how do they respond now that no one's looking at them? How do they respond now when no one's paying attention? And the next play, they both through their actions say, okay, we've moved on, we're ready to go. And I think that was really important. I was proud of them for the way that they responded to that.
Well, there are so many positive moments. You can always look at the things that stick out, whether it's fumbles or penalties and things of that nature, but that's going to happen in life. Okay. We want to limit those. As a coach, you got to be super, super proud. Let's talk about Corey for a second as a leader, as that quarterback that's going to make decisions. I've seen great growth in Corey, and even coming off the sidelines and standing there, seeing how he's talking to his players, maintaining that positive mindset that the next play is going to happen. That is a luxury for a head coach when you have somebody of that caliber. And he's only a junior, which I like. But he's going to play a pivotal role in your next game. But, and you spoke about so many good things. But talk about Corey for a second and how he leads your team.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of being a quarterback, regardless of what offense you run. If you're the guy getting the ball every play, you're the guy where everybody's eyes are on. And so, you're part of being a quarterback is being a leader, and you can't, and it's pressure too. If we're running the ball every play, there's pressure on you when we do throw the ball to to do something with it, and there's pressure on you when you come to the sideline, and there's always pressure on the quarterback, regardless of what the offense is or what's going on. And I think that's really hard for kids, especially high school kids, and especially a kid like Corey, who's a super competitor. He's a basketball player. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a kid who if I had to guess, has not experienced a lot of athletic adversity in his life just because he's a great athlete. He's probably one of the better athletes on any court or field he's ever stepped on throughout his whole life. So now when you're getting to this level where the competition is high, what kind of a leader are you? And when you, again, in an offense like ours where we have a really good offensive line and really good running backs, and our mentality is to be the most physical team on the field and to be a team that can impose their will on people. It's not spread it out and throw it all over the place. It's not, that can be frustrating for a kid like Corey. But what I'm proud of him with is his ability to, take care of the little things. And I'm a big little things guy. I think the little things make your big things, and making sure. It would be really easy for a quarterback who plays for us to be like, okay, well, all I do is get the play, call the play, and then give the ball to somebody else. So I'm just going to do that and do that really well. But Corey, he makes sure we're lined up in the right spot. He's always paying attention to what the defense is doing. He's always, he makes the call, and then he's looking around the field, like, our running back's in the right spot? Are we lined the right way? What passes are going to be open when we do decide to run the ball? And his excitement when other guys are performing well is what I think sets him apart as a leader. When Caden has a big run, he's one of the first guys to be excited about it. When Braden has a big run, he's a guy who's excited about it. I've seen him get on our offensive line when they have a big block and be excited about it. So his ability to show his own selflessness in a position that's inherently pretty selfish is awesome. And I think that allows everybody else to kind of be like, well, all right, if our quarterback's not going to be selfish, then I don't have the right to be selfish either, because it's not about me. It's not about Corey. It's about all 11 and getting the ball into the end zone, whatever that looks like. So, he's done a great job for us growing. And every week we put a little bit more on his plate. He has the ability to check out of things. He has the ability to check into things. And, and again, as a coach, that's terrifying because he's a high school kid. And again, I didn't play quarterback, but if I did, I would want to be checking into passing as much as humanly possible. But his selflessness is, I think, the quality that's going to allow him to be a great player, continuing on this year, next year, and, whatever athletic opportunity he wants following high school, that selflessness is what's going to allow him to be, to be as successful as he wants to be.
Yeah, and what you're doing, and this is so cool to watch from the sidelines, is you're building capacity. And he has the capacity to be able to continuously grow. And that makes it really special to watch. And again, it's a real tribute to your coaches, you and your coaching staff for what you do. Now let's switch gears for 1 second. And let's talk about Norwell High School. State Tournament, MIAA. This is a great tribute to the success you've had this year. Like you said, a couple of bounces the other way and a couple of plays. You're sitting in an undefeated season right now. And that's not a bad thing. But sometimes you grow more from a loss than you will ever from a win. And at the end of the day, I think the 2 losses that you had were great opportunities to really look and really redefine or refine certain things that are important to you guys. And that's that self-discipline. But Norwell presents a different opportunity for you guys. You're coming into this tournament, a 16th seed. There's really no pressure on you. You hit hard, you play well, and you take every play to the utmost level that you can. That's going to pose a problem for Norwell, in my opinion, because I think coming in 16, there's no expectation for you to beat number 1 seed. And that's a good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, we talk all the time about nobody has higher, I think when you have a good team, it's easy for people on the outside to start throwing expectations on kids, like, oh, you guys should win this, or you guys should be in this situation, or you guys should be doing this, or, look at the talent you have, you guys should be this, or that. And I think I remind our guys all the time that nobody has higher expectations for us than we do. The guys in the room, the guys practicing every day, the coaches and the players, nobody has a higher expectation level than we do for ourselves. So we, since I've been the head coach, this is the situation that we've talked about. We want to be a team that is playing for state championships at the end of the season. We don't want to be a team that, participates in playing football and poses some problems for some people sometimes. We want to be a team that is competing against the best teams in the state, because that's where we want to be. And then I believe fundamentally as a competitor, if you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best. And the tournament, the way that the MIAA has done it is these are the best teams in the state. These are, through whatever, and however we get here is how you get here. But these are the 16 best teams in the state, and this is where we want to be. This is where we think we belong, and so now we're here. And it's a tremendous opportunity for us as a program to make sure everybody in the state now knows who we are and what we're about and what we do. So we're very excited about the opportunity that these kids have earned to be in this situation. And they've worked very hard to be here. A few years ago, this was such a, I remember the first time that the state tournament was shown to me. This was like, it was such a far away thing that I barely paid attention to how it works or anything like that. And now through the kids, because it's not, again, I haven't taken a snap and our coaches haven't taken a snap. So the kids, and not just this group, last year, the year before, and all the way back to that COVID year, that these kids have put themselves in a position to compete against the best. And that's really hard. Everybody, it's really easy in December for a coach to sit down with his captains and go, okay, and every year we do this, we sit down with the captains and I say, what is our goals for the season? And it's really easy in a classroom in December to say, we want to play for state championships. That's really easy, but then you got to schedule the right way. You have to compete the right way. You have to practice every single day the right way. You have to train in the off season like a state championship team. These things don't happen. You don't luck into them. So I'm really proud of our kids for the opportunity that they've built for themselves, and I'm proud of them for the way that they've, locked onto this goal, and they've worked since December to put themselves in this opportunity. We talk about having a championship standard here. We're reminded of it every time we walk into the gym. The banners are up. It doesn't say runner up. We don't hang banners for runner up, and we don't hang banners for, tried really hard, had a nice team. When we walk into that gym, we see champion, 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 and that's the expectation that our kids have. And they also understand that putting on a helmet doesn't make you a champion. You have to do those things every day. And I think our kids have done a great job of building themselves and giving themselves this opportunity to compete where we think we belong.
So let's talk about tomorrow night, 6 p.m., correct?
Starting 6:30.
6:30. We're looking to get a student bus filled up to get some fans in the stands up there. It's a long ride for us. Parents, I know you're going to be there. Whatever we can do to support the cause and what you guys are doing, I'm going to be there on the sideline with you guys cheering you on. And that's what we do as a community behind the success of our student athletes and our coaches. We celebrate every moment that we can. And this is definitely a celebratory moment. There's no doubt about it. You reflect back and take great pride in the fact that you are representing Bay Path at the state level. The program is heading in a really good direction. More importantly, you know what? Our expectations are continuously going to be set up here, because if we fall short of up here, guess what? We're still heading in the right direction, man. Great tribute to you. Any last words you want to say to the fans, the student body, our Bay Path community out there?
Yeah, I hope that everyone is really proud of the work that our kids have put in. I hope that there's an appreciation for these kids and what they've done. Again, I'm continuously in awe of what our kids do every day. They're not, being a Voc student is not an easy thing. They're balancing work, athletics, and life starting at age 14. Our kids, half of our players are on co-op, which means they leave early every day from their job, which means they're giving up money to come and practice football. And again, they hold themselves to an incredibly high standard. This is where they feel like they belong, and this is where I think they do belong, and they've worked themselves into this opportunity. So I hope that the support for our kids is and continues to be. It's been phenomenal the past few years, but I hope that the admiration for our kids and the appreciation for the work that they're putting in, the sacrifices they're making, the effort that they tune in on every day, for everybody. It's, again, what's really awesome is I've seen this year a lot of purple and gold. I've seen a lot of people who like to wear the BP. I've seen a lot of people who enjoy being part of the success that our kids are having. I want to emphasize that, that these kids are working hard to make everybody proud of the work that they're doing. So, I'm excited to see the support out there. It is a long drive, but again, I think our kids have earned it, and I think our kids deserve to be where they're at and deserve the opportunities that they're getting. So I know as a coaching staff, we're excited for them. We're excited for this opportunity, and hopefully the community is also excited for them.
Well, as the building principal, I'm extremely proud of you, your student athletes, everything your coaching staff is doing, because you're doing everything the right way. And growth is slow and incremental, but getting to the tournament is just one of those things on the checklist that every single year you want to shoot for. So from there, you just keep grinding and keep doing what you're doing, man. So great stuff. All you guys out there, 6:30 tomorrow night, Norwell High School on Facebook. We'll put out the information. Once again, we did put out the link, so you know where to go. It should be a great time. If you're not doing anything tomorrow, join in the wave of purple and gold as we support Coach Giampa and his team going live against in the first round of the tournament, the state tournament, for that crown to go to the next level. So, Coach, thank you so much for all that you do. Keep being that champion. Keep being that person that guides our kids. And everybody out there, remember, we deserve to be in the position that we're in because we put kids' interests first. Thank you very much, Coach. Best of luck.